like I'm past 18. You know what I mean? Like I hit 18 in January.
It's LA.
Like,
it's LA. You got to lie a little.
I'm 18.8 right now, and I mean it's been great. I love stand up, and I kind of went through all the period of like really, really being passionate about it, and then being frustrated with it, and then you know what I mean? Like, and now just like I love doing it. But when I'm here in town, we're talking about writing. You know, when you're on the road, you have an hour, right? At any point, you can drop a new 15-minute chunk in the middle of that hour, and you're not going to get a perfect reaction, but it's a pretty pure reaction. Because when you're working out here, you're working out material for the people you're going to perform your hour for. So, yeah, it's harder to put a new 15 up in front of a cold crowd here in LA. That's going to be the toughest test.
Right.
But I never think if I do a new 15 in the middle of an hour in D.C. or New York or Chicago or Dallas, that, like, I didn't really get the true test of whether this is a real 15 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which used to be the thing. It's like, oh, you're cheating because that wasn't really a workout because the crowd's already there for you. They're already laughing, whatever.
Right.
But
I think it's whatever works for you. I have like like when I know, like I have Nashville coming up this week, so
I love Nashville.
I try and
I got rained out on my last show there. Right?
Did you?
Yeah, when
rained.
Oh,
that flood.
Yeah, I've canceled my shows for the flood. Mm-hmm.
Well, I basically, if I have like a big show coming up, I make sure, even if I have to drive somewhere, that I can go do a half hour on stage,
you can barely
dust off my
time,
jokes, and you know, and just make sure that, because I really feel like you just have to, once they've paid to see you, you can't have that bad show.
Yeah.
I just feel like you gotta go in and kick the shit out of them the whole weekend. Once again, it goes to that thing that everyone gives a shit, because I feel like I have the one bad show, they're going to text everybody else. Somehow they're all communicating.
Sell all their tickets back to the club.
He's peaked. He went over. He's done. Fuck him. Bring on the next redhead.
It's redhead. Yeah, the other redhead. Is there even another redhead?
Louis C.K.
Oh, Louis. He has hair?
Louis C.K.
His hair was red.
Huh?
He has hair. You have hair?
He's got it on the sides.
Got some decorative. I didn't actually know that he was decorative. Sorry, Louis. You're never going to come on my show anywhere. I've met Louis C.K. like 30 times. Every time it's like the first fucking time he saw a black girl in his life. I swear to God. Every time. He's like, hey. He like looks at me like a fucking, like a museum specimen. Shaking my hand with that confused look like, how'd you get in here? What's happening? We both have a show on the same network.
Maybe
every year.
How do you know that isn't how he processes? I think you're cute.
I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one. He's been socialized properly. He knows what to do. Smile.
You know what it is? I think this is your issue. I think because he's the one guy who doesn't fall on the ground when he looks at your beauty. No,
yes,
you
have
do.
A whole fucking interior fantasy about how I see the world. It's
stop it. Stop trying to be the down-to-earth supermodel. I'm sick of it. I'm not buying it. I'm like a guy. I like playing video games. Get the fuck out of here.
The one chick in a room full of dudes my whole life, and I've never, ever, ever been like, somebody get me a drink. Somebody do this. I've never been that chick.
It's a great angle.
Okay.
It's a great angle. I love it.
You're not gonna.
I'd sign you if I was a manager. I'd sign you right now. I like it. It's a totally unique point of view.
We're gonna start talking about you some more.
Okay.
You were saying that you used to have a bunch of jobs where you had to wear a tie. Like, what did you do before you started doing stand-up? How did you get into stand-up? What happened? What's wrong with you?
How did I get into it? I have a panic attack about how I got into stand-up, because if I didn't meet like 2 or 3 different people, like you ever think I loved stand-up, but it just like show business seemed like 9 million miles away. I didn't realize that there was a Spaghetti Freddy's down the street with an open mic.
It was a job. It was like a skill that you could develop, and like there was a path you could follow.
I just thought like you had to go to L.A. I was living in the suburbs outside of Boston, so I was working in this warehouse, and there was this guy who I worked with, and he was into comedy the way I was, like a nerd. This is how much like comedy nerds we were. We used to go. I'd go over to his house, and before we went out, we didn't have any money, so we'd be drinking beers, and we would watch like stand-up Spotlight.
Up at home and then go out?
And then go out and try to hit on girls or whatever. And of course, it never happened because we both lived at home with our parents. But we had our dream. But we would watch like stand-up Spotlight and all that, and he would just sit there going, "Bill, we're funnier than these guys." Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, "Yeah, I know that guy sucked or whatever," and I wasn't really thinking about it. And then one night he just said, "Dude, one of these nights I'm going to take a shot at Jack, and I'm going to go on stage and do it." And then all of a sudden it wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
Like if he never said that, I swear to God.
Really?
I swear to God. I would like to think that I would have gradually Yeah, I was
Like you would have found it some other way?
No, I was a walled off psycho. Like way more so
But your
now.
self-awareness is really, it's refreshing now that you see that.
I was like, I had no idea of any sort of, like, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? It had just all been so beaten out of me or whatever. By the time I was walking around and I was just going through the motions.
Yeah,
I thought I was a great guy. I thought I was, like, hey, how are you? How's it going? And everybody liked me and everything is great. I know how to say this is a great barbecue. I was that guy, but I had no sort of attachment to my feelings. I had no idea I was depressed. I had no idea about anything. And I was just walking. Nothing. I was this shell and all my emotions. I don't know where they were. They were like down the street. And I swear to God, like, he said that, and something clicked in me, and then I was just like, and then I got into comedy, and comedy, to me, was going to be the thing that was going to fix, because I knew I was fucked up, but I didn't have any sort of way of figuring it out.
Right.
I was too young, and I didn't know anything about myself, forget about other people, so I got into comedy because it was going to save me. It was going to be, all right, I'm going to go on stage, people are going to see I'm funny, and then everybody's going to stop fucking with me.
It's going to be awesome, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get my way.
Girl of my dreams is going to walk up and be like, God, you're hilarious.
Great.
Let's get married and have kids.
Married and have babies. Fix all my problems. Yeah.
So basically, then what I did was I got into doing stand-up, and then all I worked on was being a comedian. And then after about 15 years, I was 15 years good being a comedian, but everything else in my life was still at the starting line. Still didn't hear the starter pistol, which is why I'm still not married. I don't have any fucking kids because now I'm dealing with shit in my personal life that I should have dealt with when I was like 26, 27, 28. And I don't give a shit because I would have been such a shitty father.
Right.
Back then, like
you dodged a bullet. Right? I mean,
yeah.
A couple people dodged a bullet. Yeah,
my kids, the poor woman that would have married me.
Oh, yeah.
And because I didn't know, I just knew, how's it going? Good. Everything's great. And then letting everything build up and then absolute fucking, yes, heat miser. I'd turn into rage. And this is the thing, too, was I was actually would still be controlling it on a certain level. Because
like the explosion wasn't even a full...
Oh, the level of rage in my house is so beyond what other people... Like, one of my brothers had one of the funniest stories. We just call each other up because we know we're fucked up. He goes, dude, you wouldn't believe this. He goes, the other night, you're seeing this girl. He goes, I was in an argument with this girl I was seeing. And he was getting into it. Going, this is getting ridiculous. And she goes, stop yelling. And he goes, this isn't yelling. And he just goes, this is yelling. And like, literally blew her fucking hair back. And, and that's the thing that we've all found annoying with these other people who aren't in our houses and in our family was their line of what is yelling has always been annoying. I think I did a joke about that in my last special where the amount, like 3 times a week, someone will say, why are you yelling? And I'm like, I'm not yelling. I'm just passionate about my views and I want to say all of them until you get to talk again.
Right into your face.
Yes, that was the joke. So, yeah, and I hate it. I hate being an angry person.
Right.
I hate...
Is that something that you feel like is genetic, or is it something you learned? Obviously, this is like all your brothers.
That you'd have to ask like a therapist. I think it's a little bit of both, but I hate that I cause tension.
Right.
I hate that my dog will sometimes just be looking at me sort of like, is it going down? Is it going down? And literally, I'm just sitting there watching like an episode of My 3 Sons, and I'm wound so fucking tight. And my dog has been great for me because, that's like ridiculous, the level of love. I can't believe that there's a love beyond loving a dog. Like actually having a kid goes beyond that. Still blows my mind.
Just a few degrees past. Not maybe still, like totally, but like 3 or 4 degrees more.
No, you fuck with my dog. You're taking your life in your hands. So it breaks my heart when I see it. Like, and I worked at the trainer, so I know what to do. I take it for a walk.
Yeah. To calm the dog down.
To calm it down, let it walk off the energy, and then I bring it back, and then I really work on, like, my dog is my barometer. My dog is over there chilling. I know that I'm chilling, everything's good, but
you have a mood ring.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I have a shredded pit bull mood ring.
Mood ring.
No, it's not crazy. It's
just the dog, like feeling, just that the dog is so attuned to you emotionally.
Oh,
I mean, on a level that probably, like, the dog is feeling things that maybe you're not even presenting totally, like, in an exterior way.
Yeah. Well, I also know that, like, the dog gets excited when I come in the room because I play with it all the time and I wrestle with it. Like when my girl walks in, if it hasn't seen her in a minute, we'll get excited. But when I come in, immediately I just start. You just start hearing the tail thumping on the ground. Like, what's going to happen? We're going to play with the ball. We're going to wrestle. What's going to happen? And then that's not a bad energy, but there's other things. So I've really worked on. This is how far I've come. Like I didn't know how to have a confrontation, other than just letting it build up and then flipping out of fucking nowhere,
just going psycho,
and coming off like a psycho. So this is how I started for other angry people out there. Was when especially in this business, when manager, agent, booker, anybody, other comic, if I had a problem with them, I would take out a piece of paper, I would write the points that I wanted to make, and I swear to God, I would draw a smiley face at the top of the picture just to remind me that you can say what you want,
right?
Without
bursting a blood vessel.
The other person isn't going to automatically get mad and tell you to shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
because that's what was.
So you were prepared. It's like, I'm going to get this all in because I know I'm about to get shut down. I know this guy's trying to cock block me. He's not even listening. So I got to just jam this into his face.
Oh, yeah. And the poor people in my life during that period, they would just be like, hello. And I'd be like, yeah, listen, the other fucking day, we went to Dairy Queen. They're just like, dude, where is this coming from? And then what would piss me off is when you have a temper, what sucks about having a temper is even when you're right, the way you express it, you become wrong.
Right.
Because it's like, all right, dude. All right.
It's cool.
But, that doesn't mean you got to be calling me a fucking asshole.
Just because I shorted you $1 at dinner last night. And
that's the way people communicated it I'm really making my family sound like they're psychos. It wasn't. My family was like, it was like the Brady Bunch meets like Lord of the Flies. So there was Sunday breakfasts. We went to church. We all had paper routes. My parents are awesome, but
a lot of screaming.
They came up
Irish Catholic.
They came German, Irish, Catholic, Protestant, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And but they came up you just white knuckled it.
Yeah,
like you just went through life and but I could never have better parents. But it's what you do. You just take what worked.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to leave the other stuff behind, and then
you're trying to unlearn a bunch of shit. Though you're trying to dig it out. That doesn't just come out in a day. Like I think I'm going to start a new behavioral pattern. That's like you got to unlearn and then learn new shit. But
I've actually compartmentalized my temper, where I just made a rule: I don't lose my shit in the car anymore. So now when I do
a lot of pounding on the steering wheel.
Oh no! Like I would flip the fuck out, and I would forget that I was in a Prius, and I'd have that gay little beep beep, and then I would be. Screaming like a man in a...
Gay men and other Priuses are like, come on, now you're hurting us all.
Somebody needs to get his hair highlighted. I would be screaming like a man in an F-250 with a lift kit, and I would be in this Prius. So it was comical. And now what I do is I see somebody do an asshole move. I've done that. Nice move.
What's so funny is the number of times when someone does something to me and I think it's fucking outrageous, like this person needs to be pulled from their car and set on fire. And then,
a tire iron.
But I mean, just
standard.
To teach a lesson.
Right.
And then 30, 40 minutes later, I do the same thing in my car. I have shit to do. I have places to go. So me cutting that guy off, this is just about priorities and my place in the world. That guy cutting me off, punishable by death.
Absolutely.
So I've been trying to do a little bit more of that.
Absolutely. And I find these people are the worst drivers. In that, like East Coast, they're bad in an aggressive way.
Right.
But at least there's forward momentum to what they're doing.
They have something to do. Yeah.
Right. But out here, it takes about 9.8 seconds for someone to complete a right turn.
Oh, yeah. They think about it. Maybe this isn't where I want to turn. Maybe I want to pull over and make a call. The amount of times,
that's what I would do. I'd be in the car just going, go! Just do, what are you doing? Just
What's
go.
happening? What's happening? And the other thing you have, and this you probably haven't been affected by this. I was behind somebody today where I thought, this person is purposefully riding their brakes to fuck with me. They got in front of my car, and they're like, I'm going to fuck with the bitch behind me.
You're making me feel better right now.
Yes,
absolutely.
On the way here, coming to meet you, I was like, this bitch, she got in front of me. She rode her brakes for a block and a half. I'm trying to see like around her. Is there a baby in the street? Is there like a runaway turtle?
Someone on a bicycle?
She's just riding her fucking brakes. There's no reason. There's 3 car lengths in front of her. It's the only time when I really truly get angry because I just feel like, don't you have shit to do? Like, and then it becomes about me. Like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this?
And this is what kills me about it. And they also lack the ability. say like so there's someone on the side of the road and they're riding a bike.